All right, we're just gonna do a little weekend review. I don't have much I want to look for tomorrow, but we'll start with the indexes. SPY. Inside week, two down day from an inside day. So what's more likely to happen? RevStrat, which did rally back at the close. They are gapping down slightly after hours, so we could have some issues in the market. We did have this inside week forming, so we're not really interested this week. But next week, inside and down, that's an actionable signal. What that would do is negate the month into full time from continuity down. So that's something we'll want to know about if that occurs. If they go two down tomorrow with a crazy gap or something, that's also going to be a big problem. But odds are you don't. If we go to Qs, same thing, 3-1 week. That's something we'll want to know about. Finally, an actionable signal after all of this year of trading on the weekly. This is a good one to be knowing about. And it is a doji month, so whoever is buying before, you can see every time it pops into the highs, they're offloading as far as we can just see on the charts. So we'll see what they want to do, but next week, those twos is what we want to know about. If you go to Dow Jones, well, it's slightly stronger, but you can see the inside month is still an inside month. So they RevStrat the week, 122. And this is an important concept to know about. Notice how these three are still inside of that. So that's creating the inside month, but it also means 3-week consolidation. Now, when a consolidation occurs, such as this, what we're looking to do at the inside bar is take out the mother bar. Because once we do that, either these guys have to dump and get out of their positions, or they're going to profit take and send it back through previous range to go and take out both sides of this. So when it comes to the RevStrat, this didn't take out the low, which means these 2 weeks were an inside bar to this. When this reverses and makes the new high to this is still a 3-week inside bar. So once this goes into new highs here, 392.41, that's your top of the equilibrium that's forming here. So when that happens, more than likely you're going to fail either side of the range. So you can see they go down, fail to make the new low, staying inside. So they go the other way, testing the highs. Because equilibriums is where they figure out how much is this thing priced. It's price discovery occurring in here. No new highs or lows, slight lower low, slight higher high. That's your broadening formation here. So if we're drawing it out, your price discovery restarts because you're inside. It's going to look something like that. On the daily, we had our turnaround Tuesday try, 322. So it started like this, you could say. You can see it poke into the highs, come back in. And now we'd redraw. We'd say this has gotten bigger. You've taken the slight higher highs to this stuff, and you've had slight lower lows to that stuff. So this is our range now at this point. Doing nothing on the month, so we're really not that interested. IWM. This is the first one that has some issues. Closer to just going inside tomorrow after this big exhaustion wick, but 2-2 day triggers 2-2 week. And the difference with this daily reversal and those inside bars is notice how the magnitude of this is 38 cents off last week's lows. So whenever we're taking signals, we're always asking, what's the next two? What will that negate, create, or do? So this morning when that was weaker, we're like IWM goes 2-2 day, weakness is the first thing to take the day down. We're like, that's weakness, 2-2 day. The magnitude of that, 30 cents from last week's lows, means we can take this to create a 2-down week, even though it was still inside. Now, let's say the 2-2 day occurred up here, and the magnitude is only this, and now we're like $2 off last week's lows. That's probably not going to do it for you, not going to cut it. We want to see them take it out, because once you do that, whoever's long last week, now they have a decision to make. Are they going to start dumping, or are they going to buy more? And you can see they take it out, and they start getting out of positions. We do have a lot of threes in here because of the chop shop and the quad witching this week, so it's been kind of lackluster. But he did get a little move there. Specifically, regionals did that to the IWM. And we talked about regionals with the BTFP program ending. They could have some big issues. And this week, they did sell. So whoever bought last week, they sold it back down. And like we said, I'm not interested in those financials, at least not the regionals, because I think they're just buying them up to sell. I said the same about the real estates, because those regional banks hold a lot of commercial real estate debt. And real estates, they go 3 on the week, so they also came back in looking the exact same as the KRE. So I imagine these are going to trade together. They're still going to be inside quarters, so we can wait for that to break either way. We're willing to take it either way. But for now, I'm not super interested in trading that. But that'll be something we want to know about next week. We'll have on the weekend vid if we see good setups in the regionals. Now, what did we talk about going into the new month and the new week? Well, we definitely talked about energies, and I hope you got like we went through every energy name multiple days in a row. So hopefully you guys have been in there, but you can see the XLE. They did rev strat to start the month, 2-2 reversal. The 1 bar 3. So what did they just do? The month open was here, went red. People got short, changes continuity. Now whoever's short, they have to get out. 2, 2, 1 confirmation add or entry, 2, 2, 2. And what does that do? Confirms your 3-1-2 month. So anytime this is above last month's highs, 3-1-2 up, that's a buy, like we said. And the other thing we said is once you get out of this weekly try, good things happen because that's a triangle expando. And you can see grind and then boom, expansion. That's what we like to see. So Friday, that can keep happening. We're looking to go take out last year's highs. And what that would do is get us monthly into the yearly, like this, the 2-1-2. If we go to XOP, this one's almost doing that. So it's pretty strong in comparison, has a Momo Hammer weakened force. You did have a slight corrective day today. And if you go to the month, same thing. We said above this stuff, that's a 2-2 month reconfirming. And if you're looking at like a 2-month chart, these 2 months were 2 down. This is a 2 up on the 2-month chart. So it's still a 2-2 reversal. It's just on a bigger time frame. We just can't see that on this one. We see continuation. Now, if you go to OIH, what did we say? You don't have to be the first one in, but inside and up above 304.11. And that reconfirmed this week, and they just went after it. So now the question is how far can you go? If you're in here and you're looking for new signals, any new signals, you can start grabbing the upper strikes. Because if you have any positions lower by the monthly signal up, then what you can do is, if you already have like, let's say 20-something% in profit, you can use that as a cushion. You buy some other contracts, maybe it's some like 340 calls, play some weeklies or a couple weeks out, and those could probably go a decent amount. Because if they go to 340, they might go to 360 as well. They can really start gunning back through this stuff. So don't discount the fact that this is a pivot machine gun and things can get quicker. Even though this looks crazy on the week, it can get a lot better. Because this month is bright, bright green, and green gets greener. So what is our favorites, or what are we looking at? I mentioned to you guys many times MRO, because the small account guys, you can do this one. And we said the options are really cheap. So if you're trading this month, trading MRO, maybe you're using the end of the March expiration. Ideally, we'd want to be like in April. If we go to like April 19th, month and up occurred at 24.61. So maybe you're using the 26, 27 calls at the most. Go to the 26 calls. You can see if you're a small account guy, it's pretty cheap. 2-2 month occurs at 64 cents, and that's if you're playing off the 2-2 month. These went in force. If we go back to MRO, these took the month up 3-1. So they took the month up a lot earlier. They started really moving this Momo Hammer week in force. So if you're playing them this week, like we talked about, they did chop sideways, but you can see now they're trading up into like about $1. And if we know anything, we know they can go a lot further. So we'd like to see those trade a lot higher later this month, because 26 calls, they'd be worth $4 a piece up here. So they could still go 4x as long as things stay good. And every energy stock's going up. So it's a definite buy. We don't expect this to turn around. It's going to be very hard to turn all this around. So we can also go to like COP. We mentioned in the weekend, or not the weekend video, the weekly video. I believe it was Monday or Tuesday night. Tuesday night. Sorry. I'm a little tired, so I'm trying to keep my memory straight. But Monday they bought. Tuesday they came back for more, like we said, with a corrective day. So you can look for Wednesday, Thursday, Friday to follow through. They buy Wednesday, they buy Thursday, and they really get going. And that triggers the month and up, which we wanted to see. So we're still looking for here. And you're back into this 3. Still looking to take this out. If we go to XOM, we said here, you have the 3-2 Momo Hammer month. So above that, Momo Hammer month is in force. And if you get out of the weekly try, good things will happen. So what are we saying? Get out of the weekly try, good things will happen, and good things are happening. You can see it's up. If you're just playing off the weekly try, it's up like 106 to 112. And XOM on the year, we're still looking for the 3 to 120, and then it could go even further if we draw this out. Eventually, broadening formations expand. I'm not saying it has to, but if this is bright green once it gets up there, who's to say they can't buy more, right? It's just a matter of do they reverse the month and week stuff or not. So we'd love to see that if they can expand. If we go to Oxy, another good small account guy name. This was one that we had yesterday. Oxy had the 3-1 day, went 3-1-2 up. Reconfirmed today. And what's that doing? Whoever short last week, they get out. Sideways 2-month inside bar pattern and up. If that works, we take the year up at 67.93, and that's a 2-1-2 momentum continuation, measured move, and we'd be looking to try and go and start taking some of these guys out. And if we're going to do a measured move of this previous year, 22, it'd be about $48. So if they go after it again, about $48, where does that put you? Right under all-time highs. So more than likely they take those out if that's happening. So that's something we'll want to know about. COP also has that inside year, FYI. If you go to DVN, we mentioned the 322 above 44.92. And they buy, come back for more the second week of the month. So that's good. Looking for that to keep going. And if it's going to go where it should, top of the try is 54. If you go to the year, it's a little weaker, 2 down, but it is trying to go 3. So we'll see if that can happen. If we go to EOG, also a potential 2-1-2 year. We mentioned the 3-1-2 month above 117.09. So looking for 126. And you can see they also had the Momo Hammer week. Inside and up, then reconfirmation above this, they keep buying. So they're buying all the energies. There's very few things they're not buying. And there's a few names we can throw in here as well, like CNQ. It's one we mentioned with the 3-2, I believe, just at least one time. Not one I've been looking at myself. There's also going to be the stronger ones. We mentioned VLO. VLO had the inside quarter and up. Still had magnitude to 160.16. We said that'll probably get taken out. Did. So now we don't know, but what we do know is that is now a 2-up year. So one of the stronger energy names, along with MPC, bright green year and expanding still. So those are going to be the 2 leaders I can see. PXD also could go 2-2-2 years still. And similarly to XOM, the 3-2, you could call this a Momo Hammer if you want, but they expand out of the try. Slight higher highs, slight lower lows, they get out of it, and they just take off. So they really got after that one. And now that they're above 246.18, 257.76 can happen. You have to stay above that, though, because this is a, you would say, 1, 2, 3, 4 month consolidation, you could say. Now, when it breaks the high of these previous 4 months inside of this, that's breaking out of a 4-month consolidation above 246.18. If it fails before 257.76, it's considered still stuck inside this mother bar. So we'll see. Obviously, they're buying all the energies, so it probably shouldn't reverse. Everything's a buy at this point. It's going to be very hard to reverse this. There's a few other ones that we haven't mentioned. PSX is going into the highs. BKR is a 2-2 month, which we did mention. It's just a little weaker still compared to the rest. It is going, just a little slower. NE is a 2-2 month. Val is taking a 3-2 month up. Fang is a 3-2 month to the upside. MTDR is also a 3-2 month to the upside. So you got a few of those. Now, materials. We also mentioned those have a nice 3-2 month into the new month. So on Tuesday night's video, we mentioned tech was taking the RevStrat month above 40.86. And we mentioned that because they bought Monday and Tuesday, which means the buyer's in here this week, came back Wednesday, and then just boom, takes out all 3 monthly pivots in one go. And when that happens, you take liquidity from the buyers because people are now stopping out of positions. So if you were sitting short in this, you're fine. You can stay short. The second that gap up goes bright green, you're like, get me out, get me out, get me out. And you can see, end of the day, they just keep buying. People are still just getting out of shorts. And if you're a gapper trader, gap up, rips first, corrective activity inside 30 right here if you miss the morning stuff, and then you get the measured move of this morning move. So it goes $1.93, look for that again. It goes about $1.28 at the highs. So didn't quite get it, but at the end of the day, they did reverse here. you'll see the shooter 60 against. So there was some ways in on there. I know it went quick, but if we go to FCX, we'll see the same thing. Gap it up, and they just really get after it, take out both monthly RevStrat targets in one go, and that was that. If we go then to SCCO, we also saw that one get going. Did not have that on my list. Wasn't on my radar, so I apologize. Inside month and up, and it did the same thing. You can see they opened at 90, traded almost to 98 before the close. So pretty crazy buying in materials. This one is going into all-time highs. So now they're doing that. If we go to like the month and zoom out a bit, this is an expansion. So if this doesn't reverse, just going. And those are really good to know about because when things expand, they expand. So if you go to like NVIDIA from many months ago, notice the 3, slight lower lows, slight higher highs. See the inside month and up? When things expand, they expand. It still hasn't reversed that. And that was something we talked about at the beginning of the year. So if you're a monthly guy, you knew about that. It's up 300 something bucks. So if you go to like SMCI, it's the same thing with the quarterly. Wasn't quite a triangle, but if they go and take out the highs and just keep going, they're still going. No twos against. They did have a 2-2 week, but that's kind of like what we're getting at here. So we want to see the energies keep going. We'd like to see materials keep going. What we do have is XLB right about at all-time highs. So that will give us some exhaustion risk on the index, but notice the 3. So you get up and out of 92.31, that's still expanding, which is what we'd like to see. Into Friday, you do have a 2-2 in here potentially, so you definitely can still be watching that. The other stuff we talked about in materials was in last week's weekend video. GDX, the 3-2 here. Goes, reconfirms second week of the month, so they came back for more. Did have slight corrective 2-down day today after the hammers up that we got to trade in the morning yesterday. But this would have stopped you out if you had running positions. Now a 2-2-2 backup could get that going again. Same with JNUG. 3-2-2. You can see 3-2-2 above that. Takes you right into magnitude. Then the same thing. Slight triangle out on the day. So if you had a running position, probably stopped you out. Now, if you're in from down here, that shouldn't scare you. A very slight lower low like this should not scare you at all. Same with the 3-2 down here. If you're in from down here, the 3-2 weeks that we talked about last week's weekend vid, that really shouldn't scare you. They're still buying all the gold. These are all still 2-up weeks. They're all 2-up months. All the materials are doing that, so we have even more information. And even silver, which we talked about here, 1-3-2 with gold. Boom, they go. And then reconfirms this week. This was even stronger than gold the previous day, and then slight corrective today. So we'll see if they go back to get more of those. Still could take the year up. So all the metals, all the materials, all the inflation stuff, that's what we want to know about. And energies are also part of that. When inflation happens, energy prices go up, they make a killing, right? So that's what we're seeing. They're positioning for inflation, and we don't quite see the Dixie staying down. So you can see they did go 2-2 day back into the highs. These 2 bars became an outside bar of this. It's still an inside week, inside year, and it did go RevStrat month, but it's a nothing now. It's not in force. So if they're really going to puke this, they got to get back below that. We would need signals to do that, and currently we have none. So for now, Dixie, they've rallied it up, but we would like to see them drop it back down. If they're positioning for inflation, they probably know something we don't. So that's, I guess, the thesis or what I'm thinking there. Doesn't really change what the charts are doing. The only other things that we've seen that are really going, I'll show you guys here. So we'll see some consumer discretionary earnings have been good. Dix, it's going to be a big bright green month, and earnings are good. So we can continue to watch that, see if we can set up some new daily signals. We'll also see Williams Sonoma. Pretty nice earnings, slight corrective day, bright green on everything. So big 3 on the week, but earnings was obviously very, very good. So we'll see if those can set up some new things for us. And then SCCO in the materials was the other big leader that we can see. And those are the 3 strongest stocks we can see, over 10% this week. But that's going to pretty much cover what I want to talk about. I just wanted to go over the longer term stuff that we were looking at with the energies and the materials. And there's not much I really want to do into tomorrow. I'd love to see IBM start crashing and pulling down the other indexes, but in next week's inside weeks are going to be most important with the SPY and the Qs since most of the market will be doing that. So that is going to be the plan, and I hope you guys enjoyed your trading week, had a good time, and I'll see you guys in the weekend vid.